We're looking this week at John Wycliffe. John Wycliffe was born in Yorkshire, and at age 16 he became a student in Oxford, and he would remain in the university until his retirement. He would understand our times, for he witnessed the plague, which was known as the Black Death, which came in 1349, when it is said that more than half the population died during that particular pandemic. He became known as the morning star of the Reformation. He had strong beliefs. He denounced the laziness of the monks, their practice of begging, and made it clear that the worship of relics was foolishness. Like Martin Luther, who would follow him just over 100 years later, his pet hate was the sale of indulgences. In many churches, tradition had taken the place of the pure gospel. Wycliffe wanted to reform the church and was not always as patient as he might have been, as he sought to bring about the necessary reforms. It is said that Wycliffe was loved by the common people, which protected him from those who opposed him. There are two particular reasons why he was loved by the ordinary people. One, he sent out preachers 2 by 2. These became known as poor preachers or lollards. His enemies derided them, but their powerful preaching and teaching saw many converted. The second reason, he translated the Bible from Latin into English. He didn't know Greek or Hebrew, so his translation was not the best. However, it was the first translation that enabled those who could read to have the Bible in their mother tongue. The printing press had not been invented, so all these scriptures had to be copied by hand, and portions of this translation were carried by the poor preachers as they spread out over the country with the message of the gospel. John Wycliffe died in 1384, but his influence continued, which didn't please those who disagreed with his teaching. A law was passed by Parliament in 1401, under the influence of the Roman Catholic Church. This law said that all heretics were to be burned. Wycliffites, as they were known, were called heretics. In 1415, 40 years after John Wycliffe's death, his bones were dug up by his enemies and burned, the ashes being scattered in the River Swift at Lutterworth, where he had retired. This river flows into the River Avon, which in turn enters the Severn River, which in turn flows into the Bristol Channel and on into the ocean. This caused one writer to pen the words, "And though his bones from the grave were torn, long after his life was ended, the sound of his words to times unborn, like a trumpet call, descended." The morning star of the Reformation continued to shine before Martin Luther and others came on the scene and furthered the work of Reformation. The motto of the Reformers, who constantly looked to the Scripture, was, "The Church reformed and always reforming," a motto we should surely take to heart, as John Wycliffe did in his generation.